The Iwo Jima was built in Bremerton, so I was there for the pre-com detail, and so I was right in Bremerton for that. When I came back from a tour in Vietnam, I was stationed at Pier 91 in Seattle, and part of my job there was doing some of the planning for moving the supply center over to Bremerton, and it now resides inside the shipyard. And then I came back in 1984 as a supply officer of the shipyard. So altogether, 9 of my 30 years I've spent in or about Bremerton.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So you retired from the Navy in what year?
1990.
1990. And have you been active in any Navy activities since then? Or?
Well, I belong to the Military Officers Association in Bremerton itself. I spent 20 years on the board of the Kitsap Credit Union, which got its start in the shipyard. I also am still an active Rotarian. I've been on the Rotary Club at Bremerton since 1985.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Cool. Any other Navy experiences you'd like to share with us?
Well, we had most of my Navy experiences, with the exception of 2 tours in Pennsylvania. Virtually all of my experiences have been on the West Coast or out in the Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
I was stationed at the first ship I was on. When we left Bremerton, we went to San Diego. While we were on that ship at San Diego, we went to the Cuba. We went down through the Panama Canal to Cuba on the Cuban Missile flail in 1962. Mm-hmm. We went out to Hawaii a couple times and operated out of there on that ship. I was stationed with the Sink Pack Command on the staff there from 74 to 78. And we lived in Hawaii. By that time we had 2 children. Our son was only 3 months old when we moved to Hawaii, and our daughter was 3. She started school out there. Mm-hmm. And then we came back to San Diego. Then we moved back to Pennsylvania before we came out to Bremerton.
I notice here on the information that was supplied here, you indicated while in the Navy, I chaired the team that designed the Trident submarine logistics data system and directed its programming and installation. That's pretty heady. Can you break that down into ordinary talk for us a little bit? I mean, that's really significant.
The first part, the system design, we were taking we have data systems that are pieces of the Trident system, were controlled by 5 different commands. So our purpose was to take those 5 different systems and marry them together and add some components to them. Yeah. So we had this totally integrated logistics data support package.
Yeah.
Okay. So we started designing that in '71, and that was the group that I was the chairman of. They worked on the development of those concepts and tying those systems together over the next 10 years, when I got ordered back to Pennsylvania, and I had the programming group that actually put the computer programs together to make it all work. And we implemented those programs in the early 80s.
Wow. Okay. And indicate the basic system is still in use today, and that's quite a run. That's interesting.
Yes. We had it's gone through several different sets of hardware, but the software is still basically the same package.
Can you share some of your activities since you've retired?
Spent quite a bit of time with the Kitsap Credit Union. I was on the supervisory committee. I was on the board of directors for 20 years, and I was the chairman of the board from 2007 to 2011. Also in the Rotary Club, I was the treasurer for the Rotary Club for 20 years.
Oh.
And so that's probably the busiest position in the club.
Was that in Bremerton?
In Bremerton, yeah. We had it anywhere from 80 to 110 members when I was a treasurer, so I was the one that sent out all the billings and got all the dues and everything for the club. And I was also the treasurer for the foundation, the Rotary Foundation. They came out with a rule that separated those positions since I held it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm still active with them.
Yeah. So you presently live in, is it Silverdale? Or?
In Silverdale.
Silverdale. And what is your day-to-day activities pretty much like nowadays?
Well, I'm literally retired.
Yeah.
I still participate with the Rotary Club and so forth, and I used to get out and play golf every once in a while, but my knees don't stand up like they used to, so I haven't. I got out and played golf this spring with my grandson. He's taken up the sport, so I'll probably get out once in a while with him. I love to fish.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually spend a week up in northern British Columbia fishing salmon or halibut.
Yeah. Do you get involved with any of the Navy League activities around Bremerton, or did you see your fill of it?
Yeah, I haven't. They have a pretty active Navy League in Bremerton, but I have not been a member of that. Belong to the Military Officers Association, and that was about it.
Yeah, right. Can you think of anything that you'd like to share that I haven't kind of covered or hit upon?
No, we went down on the peninsula today and took a look at the places where we used to live. Two of them anyway, or three of them actually. We took pictures of them, and the little cabin we lived in the early '44 time frame is still standing. The cabin was built in 1894.
Uh-huh.
And it still stands to this day, and looks pretty much the same as it did.
It was built in 1894?
Yep.
Holy cow. Yeah.
So, and now the Kukiki farm, the house that we lived in there doesn't exist anymore. It was torn down, and then they built another house there, and it burned down, and then now this is a third house on the site.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look at all like the house that we lived in. But the old walnut tree in the yard that was there, is still there.
Still there, huh?
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. Did you used to climb that tree?
No, it's too far to the first limb. So I remember that when Dad butchered pigs, he hung them from this one big limb on the tree, and there's still chains there from where they used to hang the animals when they butchered them.
Yeah. Can you think anything else, memories of the Key Peninsula that you'd like to share?
My mom's folks, my grandmother on that side of the family was married 5 times. Her third husband, she was married to when they bought the old Summerfelt place on Rouse Road, which basically was the south side, the hill on the south side of the road. And they had a big farm there they had grapes and all kinds of berries and big garden and so forth. And they lived there from 1932 until 1944. Right after we moved to Grays Harbor, they sold that place and moved up on Hood Canal.
Mm-hmm.
So in the summers, late 40s, early 50s, we would spend the weekends either on Hood Canal or at Long Branch. Kind of alternated back and forth. When Dad had weekends off.
Okay, can you think of anything else you'd like to add?
I think that about does it.
Okay.
I'm sure there'd be a lot more if we'd spent more years down there.
Oh yeah, one of the things I was wondering, as a child, preschool, when you were living here, what kind of activities did children do in those days? I mean,
Played cowboys and Indians. And,
yeah, okay, okay.
That was, and we learned to play card games at an early age.
Card games, yeah.
My grandfather taught me how to play chess when I was 8 or 9 years old.
That's good, yeah, yeah.
He beat the pants off of me, even, when he took his queen and put it on the side of the table and didn't even use it, he'd still whip me. But my grandfather had a big chicken ranch. He had 15,000 laying hens at one time. I don't remember that many being around, but he had a big woodworking shop, and after I got a little older, he let me use the tools in his shop.
Where was that chicken ranch?
The one right across from the cemetery.
Oh.
Right across the road from the cemetery. He also had a small mill there. He got the timber off of the back of the farm there to cut up, and he built log homes for people for a number of years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he had a very unique style of log home because his logs were vertical instead of horizontal. And he cut the logs in half and faced them, trimmed them on both sides so they'd fit flush together. And he literally prefabbed the house in his shop before he took it out and put it up on the site.
Huh.
It was two guys could put up the outside wall of a house in one day.
Huh. Are there any of those houses around now?
Yes, there's one immediately south of the Long Branch Community Hall.
Mm-hmm.
The vertical portion was what my grandfather built. It was a small cabin.
Oh, okay.
And then they added onto it with horizontal logs later.
Oh,
But
okay.
the vertical log part was what my grandfather built.
Interesting, interesting. That's really good. When did your grandfather come here to the Key Peninsula?
He got here in 1910, 1910, I believe.
Yeah.
And my grandmother came out from Chicago in December of 1911.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's about all I have right now. Can you think of anything we should add or that we've missed?
I don't know, there's probably some stuff we should delete. But I think that about covers it.
Yeah, it didn't sound like you told us any Trident secrets or anything like that.
No, I've got some pictures we can take a look at
Sure.
shortly and
Okay.
go from there.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming in and sharing your experiences on the Key Peninsula here with us. You bet. Thank you.
Thank you.